So the record is on. Please go ahead.
Hello, everyone. Welcome in the Center for the Research and Innovation and Design. This is the first series of webinars during summer semester 2021. Please, everyone, join me in welcoming our speaker, international German artist, Ms. Gotlind Timmermanns, to CRID. Ms. Timmermanns has several grants, awards, and international exhibitions. She studied painting at the Academy of Fine Arts in Munich, Germany, with Professor Heinz Butz and Professor Helmut Turb. Ms. Timmermanns has also participated in numerous exhibitions worldwide, grants and public collections such as BMW, Siemens Art Program, and others. One of her latest exhibitions was in the European Culture Center at the Palazzo Bamboo in the context of Venice Biennale in 2019. Everyone, welcome Ms. Timmermanns. The stage is yours, but before I would like to ask every one of the participants, if you have any questions for the speaker, please write your questions in the Q&A tabs or send them to me privately in the private chat. Thank you. Welcome, Ms. Timmermanns.
Hello. Does everybody see me? Yes. My name is Gotlind Timmermanns, and I'm a painter based in Munich, in the south of Germany. I studied art in Academy of München, Academy of Fine Arts in München, and I'm working in a co-working space called Domagkatelies. I will come to that later. I would like to show my presentation now and share it with you. Wait a second. Natürlich. Okay. Okay, the title of my presentation is FARBKLANG, which in English means the sound of colors. And I will talk about my exhibition Azimut in Venice, Palazzo Bamboo 2019, which was in context of the Venice Biennale. Then I will talk about the way of painting, my technique and everything. And I will explain what I mean by sound of color. I will also talk about my inspiration, then shows and silk, about exercise, about Domagkatelies, co-working space, and our open studio days, which we have each year to present the artists' works to the public. Okay, I will start with the Venice Biennale. Was an exciting experience for me, and as you know, Venice is located in the water, and yeah, this is my cursor. If you take a look at my cursor here, this is a Rialto Bridge, and next to Rialto Bridge there's the Palazzo Bamboo, which is a very, very beautiful Renaissance palazzo and used by the ECC, which is European Cultural Center, for international group shows. So everything has to be transported by boat through the channels in Venice. It's very nice and very, I think it's one of the most beautiful towns in the whole world. This is Palazzo Bamboo. You see how pretty it is. When you enter the door there, it's very, has a very good atmosphere. Okay, this is a view from the balcony to see where it's located. Okay, I will talk about the work. Azimut is an installation of 3 parts, and they are 3 very large scale paintings, 2.20 m by 2.20 m, and the middle one is a little bit wider. And the idea was behind it was the 3 paintings are connected like cells in a room, and the idea is that all of them have a kind of horizon in the middle and directions, so that you have to find orientation in a space that you cannot find orientation, which of course is a symbol for life for me, that always you try to come out, you find your way at the end. After learning everything, you find yourself in different situation. And I wanted to, for the visitor to create a certain experience about this. Of course, it's individual. Everybody can see his own, what he or she sees in the paintings is up to the visitor. So it's kind of projection from myself to the painting and from the painting to the visitor. Okay, this is to explain the word. Azimut is I think, in fact, really an Arab word, and it's used for astrology, astronomy, and navigation. So this is some exhibition view. The people in Palazzo Bamboo asked me what else can they do. I said, please paint the walls in the color of the raw linen, because these paintings, as you see here at the edges, I left the linen, it's all oil on a linen, and the linen is a natural, has a natural color, this type of gray. And I asked them to paint the walls and the ceiling in the same color like you find in the painting, to make sure you understand this is a complete work and it's all connected. One thing is connected to the next. It's another view. Of course, it's also nice to see, you see I'm using silver paint, which is made of aluminum powder. And it's nice with daylight, but in this case it was a room without light, so we had to put very sophisticated spots on it. This is one more. You can see myself in the exhibition. To give you an impression. Okay, that's another. Okay, and also I shared the room with another artist from Munich. His name is HC. So that was the opening with a big audience, and there was also a performance show taking place in the bigger room. Okay, so we come to my studio now. As I told you, my studio is located in Domagkatelies, and first I will talk about the paintings. Okay, I use pigments, different pigments for my paintings. I make the oil paint myself because I use a lot of paint and I need it in certain viscosity. So I make it by myself. And this is a shop in Munich called Pigments, where I buy my things. You see there's a variety of pigments you can use for your paintings, all scales of blue and whatsoever. Like this, and on the left you see the line oil. It's just, sometimes it's just pigment, for example, something you find in earth, or in the case of the blue, it can be grinded stone. Okay, then of course, first, before I start working, I have to make the canvas. I put the canvas on the framework, and stretch the canvas, then make the foundations and let it dry and do it again, all over again. And it's a long process until I can start. And I am a really very impatient person. But for the painting, it has to be like that. So this is the beginning of 2 of the Azimut paintings. You see the idea, maybe you can see the idea of creating cells that connect with each other, as I mentioned before. I have a second level in my studio, so I can take pictures from there down, because I'm painting on the floor, because the paint I use is very, very liquid, so I have to put it on and then move the painting. I do not use brush, maybe for dripping the paint. Here on the right, you can see this is a canister with I'm using this to make the paint more liquid. It's not turpentine, because turpentine is very, very unhealthy for the lung. It's called chalzol, but chalzol is also very unhealthy for the nose and for the eyes. This is, how it proceeds. You see on the left is one, and the middle is one. I'm working also on sometimes on 2, 3 other smaller paintings, because I have sometimes long drying processes before I can go on and paint again on the same painting. Yes, more. And sometimes, okay, you might wonder why I'm always always wearing a cap on my head. Is because my hair always goes into the paintings. So this is other situation. And this is a little video so that you can see how I drip the colors. I can either drip one and then move the painting, or I can do wet and wet and use several colors, like in this case. And of course, I'm using this technique since long time, so I can create anything, even things that look realistic. It's not random. It's, a mixture of controlled things and also, of course, there are some surprises. Sometimes I find a nice FARBKLANG, as I call it, and I think, okay, I will do a next painting with this FARBKLANG that I found in doing this, for example. Okay, that was the result, the small painting I was painting on. You saw in the video, at the end it looked like that. I had it sold already. So what do I mean by sound of colors? I will talk about abstract painting. Painting, of course, expresses things that cannot be expressed another way. So if I could express the whole thing with a photo or with a poem, I would maybe do that, because to express myself with painting is a long-term thing. And then also my paintings have musical aspects. I will explain that later. I will talk about contrast and complementary contrast, and then why I use similar colors, for example, orange, red, pink, which are very similar to each other, and they make the painting float. Then how to use warm and cold colors, and why do I use silver as a background? And background, it reflects the light, but it can also be dark gray. And the silver creates in the painting, there's no orientation if it's a foreground or background. And then I also create a rivalry of silver, because silver is reflecting the light, and white is the brightest color, and shining colors like yellow, they create a rivalry, which of them is the brightest. So this is an example of here you see is reflecting the light, the silver, and here is not reflecting the light. So when you move in the room and there's such a painting, you get like all the time you get different looks of the same painting. So this is one painting you see. It's always very large scale paintings I'm doing, almost always. This is a painting where I can explain the idea of rhythm. Like it has a, you know, like baseline here. It's not black, it's created with, I think, 20 layers of blue, green, violet to make it, give it a very deep, shining aspect. And then I have a rhythm here, like heartbeat, if you go like this. And my idea was to make the two colors in the foreground, like the orange and the pink, which is a warm red color and a cold red color, and both are bright, make them like dance with each other. And to make them come very much to the foreground, I had to use cold colors in the background, but still connecting them. So this is also made with many layers, transparent layers. It's not very easy to take pictures of this, because if you come closer, you see different things than if you are far away. Okay, this is another example of, you know, silver background. You see, it's not easy to take pictures. In this case, it looks like gray, but it is silver. Okay, this is, you know, what I see when I paint. When I start creating, I drip the colors. And it's very nice and exciting to see the paint creating the painting. Okay, so this is one moment. Yeah, this is how I move the paintings to make diagonal structures. Again, here a little video to show the silver reflecting effect. Okay, and these are the paintings when they are ready. It's also very huge, 220 by 220, and this one 220 by 120, I think. Okay, this is an example of the use of warm and cold colors. Like always, you think you feel the colors. Like blue always is a little bit colder, and there, of course, you can create cold red colors. And in the middle, I wanted it to have this silver shining, opening the painting, and on the top you find like sparkling drops of orange and pink, which create a moving atmosphere. This is another example of this floating idea. But this is, of course, for me, is also important. At the end, where do my paintings end up? Of course, I have some also very nice private collectors who love my paintings, and this one is very nice, located directly beside a lake. Here in Murnau, in a conference room. Okay, this is another exhibition aspect. Okay, now I also wanted to talk about inspiration. Beside all the inspiration that comes from the paint and the color and the atmosphere the color is creating itself, I also have other inspirations, of course. In this case, I started to do this years ago, because I knew 2019 would be the 50 years landing on the moon. in 1969, and I started painting moon rays, or rays of light. And this is my studio full with these large scale paintings. I don't know how many square meters I painted in different forms. And this is an installation. Again, I do this. You ask maybe why, oh, it's always 2.20 meters by 2.20 meters. It's just, you know, to make sure it can pass my door later when it's ready to leave the atelier and leave the studio. This is made like a triptych, and you could also have different formats for it. And it can also be installed like this to give it a look like it's the paintings are surrounding the visitor. Okay, other inspiration is where I come from. I grew up beside a forest, very, very beautiful one. And this is a blessing to me because I grew up there close to nature. And of course, now I'm living in a town and I'm missing this sometimes. And also, of course, it has influence on my paintings. Like this is still an abstract painting, but you can see I try to catch the inspiration I get from nature. Okay, other inspiration is water. For example, here you see a waterfall. In Germany we have a lot of mountains and waterfalls, of course, but this particular one is located in the north of Iraq, close to Erbil. And that was fascinating for me. Friends went there and they sent me some pictures, because the waterfall for me, you know, as you saw, I'm working with very liquid paint. And at the same time, I have a stable background. And in this case, the waterfall is in the middle comes out of rocks. And also, of course, I'm working with earth pigments, like ochre, which you see on the right, the yellow one. You have this ochre, find it in earth, and it must be grinded. And this is also, it's not ochre, it's called Bohemian earth. And I'm using this in my paintings also. More, it's a stone and you grind it and you get this earth pigments. And my idea was to use the earthy pigments here for the background, and the liquid paint to talk about painting, how the painting is being created. And it's not just an illustration of a waterfall, it's to talk about painting itself. Here you see how I move the paint, and it's liquid going down. And this is the final result. And this is my favorite moment in this painting, because I was using, here, you see, I was using the yellow, very bright yellow, together with the violet. And if it is mixing, because the two are complementary colors, and as a contrast is maximum contrast, but if they mix, like you see here, it's also gray again, gray like the rock. Okay, this now hanging in a very nice lobby of a very nice 3-star hotel in Munich. These are some other examples of waterfalls, different way I painted. On the right one, you see I left the canvas as it is. You cannot really leave it as it is because you have to do foundation. So I was using transparent acrylic binder for it. This is another example of my silver painting, which is, I wanted it to look like a lake. If you look at the surface of a lake, and here also I left the canvas free to focus on, also talk about the material itself that I'm using. So this is another painting. I call it Abendlicht, which means evening light. It also has a silver paint here. This is a yes, exhibition view together with a very nice glass work of my colleague Bong Chu Chin. So these two other paintings. The left one is about surface, like if you come to a certain point of your life, you think, okay, where am I? And is it all only beautiful surface, or is there something behind it? Is there something yet to come? So this is what this painting is about. And you also see I was using the warm and cold paint colors to give it a certain, you know, rhythm, like moving from the left to the right. Okay, this is another example of my work. These two, I made a whole series of silver ground paintings. All the size is 1.40 meters by 1.40 meters. So this is called Silver Aqua. This is Silver Flimmern, which means flimmering. I got the idea when I was swimming in the nearby lake. We have many lakes where you can swim in summer only, of course. And I saw the flimmering, the reflection of the sunlight on the surface of the lake, and you get an effect called after image. Like if you look at yellow, afterwards you see violet, which is a, you know, optical effect your brain is using. You can creating. You cannot photograph, make any photograph existing in your brain. Of course, we also have some wind in Germany. It sometimes can be very, very rough. Of course, wind is invisible, but I try to create a picture of a painting of how it feels. That's another idea I got about the after images. If you look at the sun, you see different colors afterwards. So after all these bright paintings, I felt the desire I would like to paint something in the darkness, like this night painting with many, many layers of blue paint, creating something like a space of blue and dark colors and like a ceiling above you. It's also always, you know, the 2.20 meters by 2.20 meters. So for me, it's important that the visitor has the chance to enter. I mean, not really enter the painting, but enter the room the painting is creating. This is another night painting that was inspired by a painting, Baroque painting, which shows the goddess of moon coming down to earth, and it's in the Rijksmuseum. But I was just, you know, using the colors of this painter Gérard Delères, his name. So, well, some friends looking at the paintings. Okay, next inspiration. I have a little garden in front of my studio, and of course, no human can create such a beauty as a flower, because it's fragile. It has many layers on top of each other. It's perfect, and of course, still I felt the desire to paint something similar to catch the transparency that I see in it. Okay, then I did a lot of paintings, I think almost 15, called called Rayon Vert, or grünes Leuchten, which is green ray. You have, if you take a look at the sea and the weather is clear, you can sometimes, and it doesn't appear very often, you can sometimes see a green ray, because the wavelength of the green is slower than the other colors. and it's very mystificated. There's a novel by Jules Verne. You know Jules Verne, the author, and he says, like, if you see the green ray, you can never do any mistakes in matters of the heart, and you will find the real luck, the real happiness. And he describes it in this novel, where a young girl wants to see the green light, the rayon vert, before she gets married. And Jules Verne was married by the woman on the left. Her name is Honorine Verne, that was his wife. And they made their honeymoon along the Scottish border where the novel is located. So Honorine Verne indirectly is my muse to create these works. And also I like it when other like poets and scientists give a next meaning to paint, to color, to the value of color, or to the meaning of color. So this was one of my first grünes Leuchten. Okay, then as mentioned, of course, we have some big companies in Munich. One is BMW. You see the tower of BMW on the left here. Here's my pointer. Yeah, this is the building called Vierzylinder because it's made of 4 cylinders. And they were asking me to make 2 paintings for their conference room in the 21st floor of this building. So I went there, I saw how it looks, and I had to give them like proposal for that. And then later on, I did 2 large-scale paintings like this. Is 1.90 meters by 3 meters, and they asked me to do it on aluminium frame. So it was a really very, aluminium is not heavy, but together with a wooden frame, and they had some inside construction. So it was very, very hard for me to work on it because I have to move and turn the paintings all the time. So that was really a challenge. This is the second painting, but they love it. I still have contact with them, and they say they have a lot, they enjoy it. Of course, to be able to do abstract paintings, you have to be able to do other things too, of course, to sharpen your senses. I can recommend this to everyone, to do a lot of drawings. And I also started to make portraits and copy old masters, because if you copy old masters, you find very interesting ways of expressing things that you maybe did not know before. So that's just some examples I did. Portraits of, this was the inspiration I talk about. It's a whole painting, but I just portrait the Diana or Selene. And I also portrait some friends, and this is, maybe Maria Callas, a famous opera singer. And then a friend gave me the idea to make a series about wrestling champions, which was a lot of fun for me to create this, because they are so over exaggerating their expression in the faces. And in the face, you don't know first. You might also, this one, of course, might also be from a rock concert. And this one is might also be a warrior from old times. Okay, then I talk about shows and openings, which sometimes brings very funny situations. For example, here the TV station in Munich came to talk about an exhibition, and on the right you see this beautiful young lady. She is Yatong Wang, a Chinese painter, and she does not speak German, and her English also is not very good. So in advance, we learned like 3-4 sentences to talk about her work. and she was talking Chinese, and I was explaining the whole thing in German. So later on, that was funny. Later everybody thought I know how to translate Chinese. Yeah. Of course, you also present your works on art fairs. This is like example of Art Fair Cologne. Oh, my gallerist took me there. This is an exhibition in Japan with friends from Osaka in a very big exhibition hall with 3 times 200 or 300 square meters, together with the Japanese artists. They were very friendly with us, and that was a nice experience. And you see 2 German friends, you can tell by the size, they're taller than the girls. They have other artists exhibiting there. So that was also a funny situation in Prague, the capital of Czech Republic. That was in a very, very old Baroque space. We were not allowed to put so many nails into the walls. We were just allowed to use the ones that were already there. And I did the exhibition with some Czech artists and 2 artists from Dresden, which is in the east of Germany. And it was in Lapidarium. In Lapidarium, they are places where they put old statues made of stones, like 200, 300, 400 years old. They conserve them there when they are not good enough anymore to stand outside, or it's dangerous because parts fall down, and they put them into the lapidarium. And to combine the contemporary work with the old Baroque statues was a very nice experience. Of course, we made some jokes. As you hear on the see on this side is Saint Bartholomew with a broom, because we had to clean the place later. So that was in a museum. There was an exhibition about a Baroque architect called Domagkatelies Timmermanns, and there was a jubilee 250 years of his work in Germany, southern Germany, and he was really very important for Baroque architecture. So that was also a group exhibition. So this is an opening situation. The lady on the left is my gallerist. No, we don't not work anymore together, but all these situations with the openings, as you see, everybody's wearing black all the time. That gave me the idea to create something different. And I started to print silk. You can do digital prints on silk. And I do that in Como, or I have it done in Como. They are specialized on silk, and I did some more. This is another exhibition view, me and my paintings. So that was, I think, 2018. You see different dress, and together with this gallery has with 3 rooms for paintings and 1 for installation or sculpture. And this is a very, very nice, famous artist from Austin, Texas. Her name is Bailey Liu. Maybe you can check her in the internet. So that was, the inspiration for this dress, me in the middle of my paintings. Of course, I'm not working with my silk dresses. This is another one from the Moonlight collection. This is the one, with green. This is with red. This is a diptych. I made more beautiful girls in my dresses, like professional models and catwalk. This is a dress I made for a friend. You see on the left, this is the painting I was using. You can mirror it, and good. Okay, now we come to the studio where I'm working. The place is called Domagkatelies. We were using the name of the street, to call it like that. And it was a very huge area, formerly used as a military base, with very old, not very old, the buildings were constructed in 1936, already in the time of Third Reich, prepared to prepare the war. And there were many, many buildings, more than 50 buildings. And 2092, the artists started to move in after the German Bundeswehr, the army, they left the place. And more and more artists came, so we were 360 artists there. And then the area was bought by city of Munich. They bought it from the German government, and they wanted to develop a new quarter of Munich called Domagkatelies. And they left us one building, but still this one building has 101 studios, including 2 guest studios and some places, four studios for musicians, because this is our tradition that we also have musicians, we also have filmmakers and a lot of different kind of art. So if you want to apply, I can give you the information. If you want to come to Munich to be a guest artist in our studio, there's a way you can apply. Okay, I counted the languages spoken on the areas as almost 20 languages. And since 27 years is now run as a co-working space run by the artists. And now we're under, of course, under control of Kulturreferat, which is the City of Munich Department for Art and Culture, since 2009, and we have to apply every 5 years to get a new contract. So this is the place you see, it's really huge. This is the you see the studios, the architectural plan. The right wing has 1 floor and the others have 2 floors. This is our place in summer or in springtime. This is our place in winter, with nice snow with the colleagues from Dresden. This is our exhibition space, and here you see this work is made by Matthias Hiltreiter, a very, very genius artist, making his things from ceramics, a very realistic. And this is the Wonder Lamp, we call it the Wonder Lamp. It's almost 3 meters long. We use the place for lessons, for lectures, exhibition. You see the opening of 1 hour open studio days with an external curator here on the left side, and always people from, like this lady, she's working for the city of Munich, and then also some politicians always, they come to welcome us. And in the middle you see the work of Yoshiyuki Miura. I will show you later some other things. Okay, then we have our open studio days. We do that each year for 3 days and nights. And last year we could calculate how many visitors came. It was more than 2,500 during these 3 days. And in the years before, we did not calculate them, but they were more, of course, and because last year already we had the Corona situation, so everybody had to register, wear a mask, and we could only allow 400 people at the same time to enter the area, and we had to put a metal fence to make sure nobody is entering beside our control. So this is opening situation. On the left, the lady is Katrin Habenschaden. She's the 2nd mayor of Munich. And this is Lars. He is also a politician. He opened up our open studios. This is one of our bands called Die Gut. They are Koreans. very funny rock band. This is, you know, our garden with people. Of course, we serve some food and some food trucks and a lot of drinks of all kind. And it lasts until late in the night. We can turn on our fireplace with wood, and these are some artist friends from Kyrgyzstan in the Far East. Okay, this is a view of one of our exhibitions during the Open Studio days. Before we did this, before there was another jury situation, and we put every artist got a moving carton with 50 size. So this one was mine, and everybody, we put the cartons in the shape of the building. You see the U shape. We put it to make a little protest, like there was a threat for us that we were about to, you know, we were not sure this moment if you could stay or not, and they really told 50 of the artists to leave, and we got 50 new artists in our place, which is really sometimes very sad. Okay, this is some examples of our artists to show you the variety of artists we have. This is again Yoshiyuki Miura, a Japanese artist. He works with painted either metal threads or with nylon threads. This is made with 2000 nylon threads. You see. Very nice. I like his work. This is him in the studio covering his face with a paper. You see him here. And this is a mod. It's not a work. It's a model. You see. It's a model for a big installation. So he's doing that in bigger places. This is. I show you. We have a lot of different type of artwork, like installation, comic, painting. Yuli Koo, she's a Korean artist. She made these masks from silicone when the Corona period started. This is a very interesting artist called Steffen Kern, and this is not. They are not photos. They are drawings with pencil. This is a hyper-realistic painter called Brigitte Stenzel. This is not a photo, it's a painting. So we have some artists who do with light, who work with light or with computer art. This is installation. Mitsuho Matsunaga is made with paper. This is Olga Golos. This is Holger Dreisig's work. He cuts out from magazine, and he's doing collage with it. And this is again Bongchul. You saw him before. He's working only with glass. This on the left says hier und jetzt, means here and now. And he says it's all about love and how love is also can be hurting. This is his nice glass work with colored glass. Here we have this wood. And some more friends. We also have some people who work with augmented reality and with video animation, which you see on the right. And this is installation outside during Open Studio Days. So you see, it's a lot of experimental art there. Okay, and this is what we want to do next, because we are really a little bit, it's hard for us to be faced with always the jury every 5 years. So we want to build a new house for studios. And this is the visualization. The architect is Benedikt Esche with Collective A. And we want to build this tower made of concrete and put it right beside our, as you see here, our old building. And this should be a new building. This is just visualization. This is future plan. And I don't know what time it is. Yes. Oh, this is some information about me. You can take more. You see more of my work on my website, gotlandtimmermanns.com, and you can also invite you to follow me on Gotland Timmermans Art on Instagram. You can take a look at all the artists at Domagkatelies, also on Instagram, Domagkatelies Art. And since April, we have a channel on YouTube, and you can also follow here. Okay, I thank you for your attention, and if you have any questions, you tell them to Patricia. Thank you, Patricia.
Thank you, Gotlind. Thank you so much. It was very interesting. Gotlind, we have a few questions from the students. So I'll start with the first question. You have a unique way of not using a brush. What inspired you to do that? And does it allow you to have a prior expectations to the final outcome of the painting?
Okay, I started this technique because I wanted to give the material that I'm using, like canvas and the paint, I wanted to give more freedom to the material to create, I always call it a body to the material should give a own body to the painting. And also I don't want to make illusions or illustrations. I want also the paint to say something about painting and what is paint and what is color and what is the material I'm using. And does it give me, what was the second part of the question?
And does it give you a prior expectation of the final outcome of the painting? Do you have a prior expectations?
Yes. Since I'm doing that since long time, I know more or less what will be there at the end. But of course, I like it if it's a surprise to me. If I mix 2-3 paints and it's flowing, of course, I cannot control it 100%. But this makes it more exciting, because if I can predict the outcome, is boring for me. So it's less boring for me.
Definitely, definitely. I will limit the questions to 2 more questions because we're running out of time. So one other question, there's a strong dynamism or rhythm, as you said it in your artwork, especially shown in the light reflection and the layers. As an architecture student, would like to know, how do you feel that the dynamism is in the artwork will change the space it's placed in?
The dynamism of the silver, or the dynamism
of the whole artwork of your paintings?
How
is it going to change? How, when you place it in a space, how is it changing the space? How is it changing the space that it's placed?
I understand. The effect my painting has when it comes to another place is very interesting, because it looks different in every different place I put it. If there is daylight, it sometimes can look like the paint is coming through a window because of the silver reflections, and it is always opening the space. That is very nice experience for me. If I see my painting somewhere else, it opens the whole room. It makes it like it's bigger, double size.
Yeah, it works like a mirror, like us when working as an interior design, it works like a mirror.
Yeah, it works like a mirror. And I did not show you one. Maybe at the end I can show. I made experiments with colored light to show the effects of that.
Sure. So one last question. It's a very contextual question about the pandemic. So the pandemic has disrupted everyone. What would be your advice for young artists and students and people who are pursuing art or painting?
the pandemic only affects the places where you can show your art. It does not affect your artwork. And for us, of course, I'm happy to be in this co-working space, so I can exchange. I can, of course, talk with my fellow artists about my paintings and make plans for future exhibitions. And I have, I think, 3-4 other exhibitions this year, which are already planned before. It had to be postponed, but my advice is to continue working, because it's the only thing that can stabilize you in this situation.
That's true. Thank you, Gotlind. I think
Gotlind, you wanted to, sorry, Patricia, Gotlind, you wanted to show us something more?
Yeah, about the, wait, I have to come back to the,
you have to share again.
Presentation. I have to share again. Wait,
Yes.
share again. Wie geht denn das? Okay. That was just the last. Oh. That was the last. Wait. I have to go back. Escape. Oh. That was the last video in my presentation. This one, for just for fun. Do you see it? Yes.
Yes, we do see a picture. Yes.
Okay.
A painting, not a video.
No, it's a video. Wait.
No.
Why it does not work? Datei. Aktuelle Folie. Aha. Okay, this is a video of what we tried with colored light. So you can see how everything is changing if you change the light. This is a disco light, of course. We did it just for fun, you know, but you see sometimes the white comes to the foreground, sometimes whatever the color is. If you put blue color, the blue color comes to the foreground, and so on. If it's the orange is the front color. You see the effect, what I was talking about. And this effect could also be used when you put the painting in a different situation. If you put the painting in a different situation, what do I have to do now? No, nothing. You can also use the light to create effects in the room.
And Gotlind, this was because of the silver that you used, correct?
Yes, because of the silver. No, this is also works on other paintings. I tried the same
okay.
With the wood. The one I did for the forest painting also works the same without the silver.
Okay.
If you put yellow light, the yellow is the first. If you put green light, the green is the first.
Okay. Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay. Any further questions?
That's it, I think, because we're running out of time. I tried to mix the questions together. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you very much for the moderation, for the invitation, for the attention of all the students. And
thank you for joining us.
I appreciate it a lot. Thanks.
Most welcome.
See you next time in Dubai.
See you next time, hopefully here in Dubai. Goodbye.
Okay, goodbye.
Goodbye, everyone. Thank you for attending and participating. Thanks.